I get it, you're staring at a wall of security options and wondering if you're about to throw money at a system that will sit idle, or worse, miss the moments you actually need it to capture. The fear of buying the wrong surveillance kit is real, especially when a lot of the promises sound vague. Smart motion detection, color night vision, weatherproof. You want to know whether any of that translates into peace of mind for your home or small business, or if you'd be better off with a simpler plug-and-play camera. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through what the Lorex 4KHDIP3216Ni actually delivers, where it shines, and where it might leave you wishing you'd chosen something else. First off, this isn't a single camera. It's a full-blown 16-camera 4K system paired with a 32-channel NVR that stores up to 8 terabytes of footage. That's a lot of hardware, so the first question is, do you really need that many lenses? If you're a homeowner with a single front door, a driveway, and maybe a backyard, a 2-camera kit would do the job. But if you're running a small retail space, an Airbnb property, or you just love the idea of covering every angle of a large property, the 16-camera setup starts to make sense. The real-time 30 frames per second recording means the video isn't jerky, which is crucial when you need to read a license plate or identify a face in a crowd. What impressed me during my research was the way Lorex handles low-light scenarios. Most budget 4K cameras default to black-and-white night vision, which can make it harder to distinguish details. The Lorex bullet cameras boast a large sensor that enables color night vision, so even after dark you'll see the difference between a white shirt and a gray hoodie. In a practical sense, imagine you get a notification at 2 a.m. because motion was detected near your side gate. When you pull up the footage, you can actually see the color of the intruder's clothing, not just a grainy silhouette. That extra visual cue can be a game-changer for both police reports and personal safety. Smart motion detection is another headline feature. It claims to cut down on false alarms from passing cars, swaying trees, or pets. In the field, the algorithm learns the background and only triggers when something truly moves against the baseline. For a busy street-facing property, that means you won't be flooded with alerts every time a delivery truck rolls by. However, the system isn't perfect. Users have reported occasional missed detections when a person moves slowly or stays partially obscured. If you rely heavily on instant alerts, you might want to supplement the system with a dedicated alarm sensor. Ease of use is often where many high-end surveillance kits stumble, but Lorex tries to keep the setup reasonably straightforward. The NVR boots up with a clean interface, and you can drag and drop each camera onto a layout that mirrors your property. There's a built-in web portal and a mobile app, so you can check live feeds or playback footage from anywhere. The menus are a little dense at first. There are settings for bitrate, exposure, and motion zones, but once you get past the initial wizard, the rest feels like a typical DVR experience. If you're a tech-savvy hobbyist, you'll enjoy tinkering with those fine-tune options. If you're a beginner, you might want to stick with the default presets and let the system do most of the heavy lifting. One practical strength that often gets glossed over is the durability. The cameras are rated IP67, meaning they can handle rain, dust, and even sub-zero temperatures down to -40°F. I read a case where a homeowner in a northern climate left the cameras exposed during a snowstorm, and they kept recording without any hiccup. That resilience is not just a brag point. It means you won't have to climb a ladder every winter to clear ice or replace a busted unit. Now let's talk about the lens and zoom capabilities. Each bullet camera comes with a 4 optical zoom and a field of view that can reach up to 113 degrees when fully wide open. In practice, that gives you flexibility. You can set a camera on a wide angle to monitor a yard, then pull back in software to zoom in on a driveway without losing detail. The autofocus works reliably in daylight, but in very low light the focus can hunt a bit before locking, which adds a couple of seconds of blur to the start of a clip. It's not a deal breaker, but if you need instant, razor-sharp capture the moment motion is detected, you might want to position the cameras where they have at least some ambient light. A downside worth mentioning is the lack of battery backup on the cameras themselves. The system relies on the NVR's power source, so if there's a power outage, the whole setup goes dark unless you invest in an external UPS. For most residential users, this isn't a big issue, but a retail store that needs 24/7 coverage should factor in an uninterruptible power solution. Also, the system doesn't